Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hope you're doing well. So, Islam helps women become better mothers. And there's many reasons why, but I'm going to share some of the reasons why I feel that way. First off, it encourages mothers to be sober. Alcohol makes women worse mothers, and Shaitan wants mothers to not cope with stress in healthy ways. He actually wants them to harm themselves and traumatize their children with bad memories and sickly mothers. So, when you are a mom, being sober is paramount to a healthy, nurturing home. As you know, drugs and alcohol have decimated so much of my family. I had two drunk stepmoms, and one of them overdosed with alcohols and pills. I had a stepdad who constantly drank and spent money we didn't have on alcohol. He would go to the bar after work and get shit-faced. Him and my mom used to physically beat on each other, and I'd have to hold my screaming, crying brother as she tried to argue with a drunkard. Alcohol for moms is only poison. Mind you, I live in a liberal area, and wine moms are quite common. A lot of housewives become bored. They start drinking, and then they create mom groups around drinking, and they drink mimosas, Chardonnays, and Bloody Marys. And this allows them to cope with their pain they feel, and then they start to nag their husbands more. Their husbands become more miserable because they're coming home to a woman whose breath smells like vodka, and she's nagging and nagging, and she wants more money so she can spend money on $12 and $14 cocktails. And this is going to be something that shows its ugly head more and more now, because we have alcohol encouraging women to be hypersexual as well. When a woman gets drunk, she becomes very open to the flow of the sexual energy. There's a reason why when women go to parties, the men specifically and strategically wait for her to get drunk before they try stuff, because it lowers her inhibitions. She's less shy, more willing to explore, and this can lead to quite sticky scenarios. And I used to just see some of my aunts who would drink a lot, and it was quite sad watching them slowly poison themselves. My next aunt's about to die. She has liver cancer from alcohol, and one of my grandfather's dearest friend's wife died from alcoholism as well. And seeing the color of her skin change, seeing the blotchiness of her eyes because she's getting liver failure and she obviously doesn't qualify for a transplant past a certain age, you begin to see the horrors that alcohol does on the body. So Islam commands us mothers to be sober, and that makes us far better than any drunken atheist or a libertarian woman who thinks it's okay to have a Cabernet Sauvignon every week. And this slowly makes her get into the habit of every time she has stress, she goes to alcohol. And alcohol becomes her elixir of life. It becomes her crutch, her pacifier. And little by little, she drinks more and more. The amount of women who are abusive alcoholics and create misery for their husbands and for their children is quite high. Okay? It's not really as the marketing agents portray it as a classy, controllable substance. If you are constantly seeking to drink every time there's stress in your life, you're slowly becoming addicted. And I find it to be quite perverse if you're a mother kissing your baby and there's just wine on your breath. It's repulsive. If you're a breastfeeding mom and you can't stop drinking, and you know that you're making your baby drowsy because of the way in which you're alcohol-ridden milk affects the baby, you have a problem and you need to go to Alcoholics Anonymous. They justify it by saying, well, it's just one glass of wine after the baby goes to sleep. It's just one here and one there, and before you know it, it's more than once. Oh, I'm just a social drinker. I have to drink in order to not feel shy and have something to talk about. It's very unhealthy. And if you look at how much dialysis costs for people who have kidney failure, which alcohol hurts your kidneys, you see how they have to take your blood and then put it back in, and there's all these horrible, really invasive treatments for cancer. And so you're coping with stress by choosing alcohol is something that is going to harm your health, harms your child's vision of you, how they see you, and then they have to watch you slowly die from a cancer. Think about that. Not only did these women who slowly fell into alcoholism justify it along the way, one here, one there, whatever, then they get sicker and sicker and sicker, drink more and more and more, become more and more depressed. They start to not take care of themselves. They start to snap more. They sleep more. They become sloth-like. They start neglecting their duties. And then the children watch this slow decline of their mom. And then they watch the cancer and the illness take over. The child is robbed of a healthy mother figure. And a drunken woman often snaps. She's not very sane. She becomes mentally ill and deranged and hysterical. And repeats herself often. I can't tell you like what it feels like unless you've gone through it. Dealing with people who are drunk and you're trying to rationalize with them. You're telling them to stop, but they won't. They'll throw their whole lives away. Oh, you don't want to have fun. Oh, you're just a pain in the ass. Oh, you're a prude. Like, they'll insult you for helping them to see that Shaitan is leading them to cope with stress in the most unhealthy ways and that they need to get sober. And so Islam helps us become better mothers because it commands us, of Allah, right? It commands us to be sober, no intoxicants. This means that we are able to be more rational, be more patient, have a higher threshold for pain, and we learn to create strategies and solutions of sobriety for extreme levels of stress. And we're more productive because of that. The pain may sit in the bottom of your heart longer, and you don't have alcohol pumping through your veins to give you that temporary alleviation, and then it comes right back down with a hangover. But it is more lasting to wrestle with the angst of life sober. And you are less likely to be manipulated or overreact when you're sober. If you are dealing with crying children and you're drinking, the alcohol is not going to help you be a better parent. It's going to make you sedentary, docile, and your kid will run wild because they perceive your weakness. Okay? They perceive that you're in an inebriated state. The kids are really intelligent, more than we give them credit for. You can see that your parent is soft, a pushover. You're going to test the boundaries more. But if you know you have a vigilant, hawk-eyed tiger mom who's on your ass, you are not going to mess up as often. If you gave wine to a tiger, it's walking, it's swaying, you feel less afraid. But if it's aware of its surroundings, no tranquilizers, nothing like that, you definitely operate in a different mode. Same comes to human beings. Your children deserve to see you sober, and Islam raises women to a higher status by commanding them to have a sober mindset. And this forces women to really self-discover, and it causes more introspection, and it helps someone wallow less in pain because the body is actively seeking a healthy way out. Alcohol freezes you, it holds you there, grips you, changes the way in which you think. It's like, and then you just blurt out vomit stuff, and then the next day people are like, what did you say that for? The pain you put upon others because of your alcoholism doesn't go away. But if you are sober, you practice healthier habits, whether that's through exercise, cooking, writing, painting, drawing, tending to your garden, doing ceramics, whittling. There's endless amounts of things you can do to channel that energy into a productive part. Whether it's writing poetry, you name it. There's so many different ways. That is going to help to squeeze out and pull out that stress rather than alcohol numbing it for a while and then your brain coming back to reality and realizing the pain is still there. We didn't deal with it. It's gnawing at the back of your consciousness. We have to do something. So Islam helps women become better mothers because the command to be sober. Not, oh, Jesus drank wine, so now we get to drink wine. The popes drank wine in the past. The cardinals drink wine. Italian culture embraces wine. Spanish Catholics drink wine, therefore we drink wine. Oh, American Christians get drunk on Sunday footballs and during the Super Bowls, and then they sing country song, whatever. No. We push that out of our lives. Nothing good comes from alcohol. Nothing. There's women who will say, I can have one beer while pregnant. Oh, and then it's, I can't stop drinking when I'm breastfeeding. And then it's, oh, I gotta take pain pills, but then I want to drink. And then their body is just like, what is happening? The depressants they drink make them more and more nihilistic and cynical. They get trapped. And then they exist in this mist of gloom that is harder to pull out of. That is why Islam is a huge remedy for American drinking culture. Alcohol is a threat to families. Islam helps mothers become better, which helps families stay together and be more healthy because it commands us to be sober. A sober mother is better than an addict mother. A sober mother is better than a woman who has to cope with intoxicants. If you fail and you trip up and you relapse, that happens. But you don't make excuses for it. You own up to the mistake. You take accountability, and then you don't do it again, and you strategize to prevent that again. So Islam is a superior religion because it makes women become better mothers. Let me know what you think. If you'd like to join my blog, it's www.subscribestar.com/MilahanArchive. Hope to see you there.